Hello everyone, Sheek here with another Transformers review, and today I will be reviewing, no, not a version of Blackout as it may look like, no, but of Zeta Bruticon Whirlblade, their take on Vortex, and yeah, the helicopter mode is, as you can see, there is something missing because he is broken. He did not arrive broken. It's on me, my fault, I broke him. Kind of upset that I broke him, but also kind of like, but, yeah, I'll explain. But anyway, but yeah, as you can see, the part that's missing is these. I didn't throw them out, not going to, but, you know, pretty much these that go on the side right here, which would make him look more like Blackout. Anyway, yeah, those broke off on my first transformation from his helicopter mode to his robot mode. So if you look at these pieces, hopefully if you ever get this figure, very expensive to get the whole set, and blah blah blah. If you ever do get him, I'll honestly recommend getting, I can't remember off the top of my head, but this other third-party set that looks really cool, where all the combined bits are included in each individual robot rather than being separate pieces. But anyway, yeah, the problem with this one is that if you see this metal pin right here that goes into the plastic, I'm not saying that it's actually super weak or anything, but see how there's this little plastic right here that goes into here? So it would be in here, and it rotates on here, pivots, and then this also rotates around for transformation. Obviously that part won't be included in the transformation because it broke off. Anyway, but as you can see, the pin only extends that far into the plastic. It doesn't go all the way into here like one might expect to pretty much make it stronger. So obviously the plastic might be a little bit weaker, or at least more susceptible to breaking, because I made the mistake of, there's a part where you have to split the front up right here, which can be kind of stiff because there's a stiff peg in there, and I pulled on it and pulled, and I made the mistake of pulling on this right here, and it broke off. And then, well, the other one broke off, and also, I guess in that case, it made at least a little more symmetrical. I did try fixing it numerous times, but it just, the slightest touch pretty much, even after drying, curing, all that, it just, I guess the plastic just isn't very good for gluing. Whatever, for whatever reason, not fixable, at least not without using like something like JB Weld. I might try that potentially if I can get a hold of some. Anyway, but yeah, also another downside to this figure, this right here, super loose, really loose. A little stiffer on this side, but the problem is that, as you can see, it just flops. And the problem with that is when he's in his helicopter mode, it has a tendency to do that, which is something you don't want, which is very annoying. So yeah, I'd say he is the biggest problem child of the set, unfortunately, because Vortex honestly is one of my favorites of the combaticons. Honestly, I like them all, but anyway, very disappointing in that regard. Now he does have a clean helicopter mode. Obviously you can tell that's his chest, that's his legs, and you can see where the hinges for the combined mode, but overall a fairly clean helicopter mode. Obviously it's gonna be sort of like Blast Off, where he has a lot of kibble in his robot mode, but I mean, at least the vehicle mode and combined mode looks fairly good, except for the fact that those pieces broke off. But that's anyway, already went on enough about that. He does come with some accessories, a couple of them which are more for his helicopter mode, which are some looks like drop tanks or fuel tanks, or just missiles, but looks like from the design of it, meant for more for missiles, which can go on his wings like so. And I guess that can maybe help hold it down a little bit, but they do go on there, and it looks pretty cool. Although, there we are. And then I think it's supposed to shoot out, but there's no spring in there, or if there is, it's just doesn't work, but you can tell that they, I guess, were possibly going to do it, but just didn't do it. But okay, I guess, okay, maybe they are supposed to. Just that one might have been a dud. Anyway, yeah, because this one right here, on the other hand, is actually, there we are. Yeah, wow, that actually worked really well. Guess I didn't really play too much with the accessories, because obviously, when you get a set like this, it's not for the individuals, it's for their combined mode, which is something I'm definitely looking forward to showing off to you guys at some point in the future. And there is his handgun, which is done in a metallic blue with metallic gunmetal for the middle on both sides. And this one does have it, but it doesn't go all the way through, but it does have those slots. But so far on their hands, I haven't seen the the tabs that would go into said slots. And also another thing which I could have shown if I had actually done a review when I first got them, however long ago it was, honestly, doing a combiner is kind of daunting, especially when you're kind of honestly a little disappointed with it, at least with the individual components. But yeah, his blades don't come pre-installed. You have to put them in, and there's these little metal pins that you put in. Obviously, I prefer that rather than the just snapping them on and then just hoping that they don't wear out. And it does, as you can see, spin quite nicely, and I do like that about this guy. So does the tail. The tail rotors doesn't spin as well, but it does spin fairly well. And then the only downside is that if you want to put him back in the box, since he came without this installed, I don't think there's a way to really fit this in the box with the blades on. And I suppose if you had a punch or something very thin just to push the pins out and then use pliers to pull them out, and you don't want to wear, you're not afraid of losing them, then you might be able to do that. But I feel like this is one of those things that's pretty much once you get out of the box and put together, you're probably not going to be able to put it back away easily. And then this part right here, also, that's another problem. This doesn't like to stay on. I mean, it's not, I mean, for the combined mode, it doesn't matter too much if it really stays on. For the helicopter mode, I feel like it's more important, but hey, whatever. If it comes off, it comes off. Like I said, helicopter mode would have been really cool if it just held together a little better. I am pleased with the rotor, but other than that, it's just honestly disappointing. So let's go ahead and get him into his robot mode. Okay, so first thing you're probably going to want to do is to collapse that in. Just get that out. And then you pull this down. Get this pulled down. And then rotate them around. Let's see, come on. Get down. Anyway, get them rotated. And then you're going to want to just start pretty much untabbing everything. And I don't know why right now, for whatever reason, the first couple, I remember now. I actually filed this down. If you look, I actually, as you can see where the paint came off, I did file it down because I was like, yeah. The thing is, if I known it was going to be that hard to separate, I probably would have done it beforehand, and then those would have never broken off, and that would have been an issue. But at least now you don't have to worry about, I don't know, flipping them around, because then you'd have to pull this back, then flip that up, rotate around. I guess I'll do my best for those that don't have a damaged one, but you bring this back, tab in, then these, okay, I guess you probably just want to go ahead and flip his landing gear up, flip up, here we are, and then let's go ahead and just collapse these in. And then there is a problem is figuring out exactly where it is, but I do believe there is a part, unless I might be getting him funny that I mentioned that he looks very similar to Blackout, but now I'm comparing his transformation to that of Blackout. I'm like, because I'm expecting, because this one does not have it, but where the rotor kind of just rotates a little bit more to make it a little easier to do the I don't know, make it not look like this, but where it's, I don't know, more evenly spaced when it's collapsed. But yeah, that's about as close as you can get to that look. And then kind of just collapse this thing down right here. And then there's so many panels. On these guys, there's a lot of panels, or at least big chunks that act like panels. They're just very blocky, very blocky. which I guess is kind of G1-y a little bit. Anyway, oh, wow. Actually, no, I didn't have him fully in this helicopter mode initially. Don't know why I forgot about that. But yeah, there's these panels. Oh, I think I know why, maybe. It says, didn't hold it. But as you can see, and I was complaining, oh yeah, it's visible this, visible that. But no, actually, it's supposed to be covered up. Like, yeah, as you can see, it's very, very well done. Like, on the bottom, like, there's like, only thing that was visible is that joint. Now I feel kind of bad about ragging on that part. But everything else I complained about is valid and still stands, in my opinion. So yeah, let's go ahead and get that and close back up. And then, as you can see, there's his crotch right there. And let's see, where do we go from here? All right, there's more panels back. Oh yeah, under here. So kind of got it. Let's see. That's the only thing that's there we are. Pull these out. That's the only downside to working backwards from instructions. Is that's like, okay, exactly where do I go from here? Then you tab it into place up here. Tab into place up here. And then this should come down, because as you can see, there's these panels underneath here that will need to come down and come out pretty much. Okay, let's see. And then these, of course, as helicopters are wont to be when it comes to Transformers, tend to just want to go all over the place because, you know, they spin. Spinny, spin, spin, unless it's like Springer and you just remove it because, you know, that's what becomes his sword. Oh yeah, flip it around. Flip that around. And because that's his, this is what forms his feet. And then you just want to get this, let's say, rotate out of the way. For sure you want this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. There we are. Pull up and then down. Pull up. Come on. Get out of the way so that they can see that on camera. Pull down. And then you just rotate this around. And then I'm pretty sure that this right here rotates, fold back into there. There we are, kind of like that, if I remember right. Okay, and then as a blast off, you just kind of oh come on, get out of the way. Flip and extend out his legs. Come on. There we are. Get fully pulled out. Extend his legs. Like so. Close it back up. Like so. There we are. Close this back up. Oh, Nope, never mind. It goes like this, then like this. No. Why you're just confusing yourself as well as your viewers. Why are you doing this? There we are. Okay. Close that back up, which forms his shin. And I think I got his foot backwards. There we are. Rotate that around, which is the front of the helicopter. Whew. Okay. As big as they are, working with these is a little bit of a workout when you're holding it out in front of you instead of right in front of you. As I'm sure any reviewer of action figures of this type can attest to. Anyway. And then, stupid rotor. Stay out of the way. Close that back up. Rotate the foot around, and I do believe get this. There we are. Collapse down so it doesn't get caught on anything. And then get all this clipped into place. There we are. Come on. There we are. Clipped into place. Clipped into place, and then rotate around to the front. This tabbed in, just make sure everything's good. The legs are pretty much done. Now let's go ahead and pan camera up and work on his upper body. Okay, so I'm gonna want to just pretty much unfold these panels, whoops, like that, and not fall backwards onto the backdrop. Tab around here, and then you can see this is on a pole. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Masterpiece Shokai, whatever his name is. I feel bad for not remembering, but it's always hard to remember some of the Japanese Transformer names. But as you can see, these are rotated like that so that you can close them together, but you just flip those down to make his shoulders. Rotate, pull down, rotate down, and then we just kind of gotta do his arms, which kind of open up quite a bit actually. Rotate around, there we are. Get his hand flipped out and just pretty much get this rotated in, I'm pretty sure. There. Something like that. No, not like that. Ah, there we are, like that. Close that up. Snaps into place. Get it rotated around. No, not around. Okay. This feels a little odd. Let's see. Okay. There we are. Alright, transforming these guys' arms is always a little bit tricky in my experience, but okay, so got this arm complete off camera, and let's go ahead and show this whole one on camera. So you just don't untap that, but you open up his arms like this, and then you rotate, pivot this around, tab into place. This should go right into that hole right there. If it will stop fighting me. There we are. Okay, get that in place. And then flip out the hand, close back up, the snap, and then rotate this around. As unnatural as it feels, it does feel like it shouldn't rotate around, but it does. And then you rotate his hand out, and then have his arms done. And now to work on his the rest of him. So I'm going to extend this out, if I remember right. Then rotate his backpack around, and then collapse it up, just kind of like that. Get it pulled down. And then, let's see, flip out his head, and then this. This goes behind his head. Like this, I'm pretty sure. Yep, that's how it goes. It looks like it shouldn't be like this, but this is how it's supposed to be according to the instructions. At least on the starting out image, it looks like this. Although they have his legs together as if they're like the G1, where it's like, you know, completely together like this, like tabbed together and everything is what it looks like. So it looks kind of like more like a G1 blockiness. Anyway, yeah, his robot mode doesn't look too terrible, especially if you think more of like Studio Series or Movieverse Blackout, where he has the thing up here that's kind of behind his head. And although he does have this thing behind his head, it doesn't really affect his head's articulation all that much, and the face actually looks really cool. I do like his face. And then of course has the translucent plastic for light piping, which, as we saw with their blast off, it doesn't seem to work out all that great, but it does do a little bit. There we are. Just use, if you're wanting to do light piping, just make the plastic the color you want the eyes. Isn't really that hard. Anyway, yeah, nice silver for the face, metallic for the rest of him. Like I said, looks very nice. I'm not sure how G1 accurate it is, but it does seem fairly accurate to me. Yeah, it is on a ball joint. You can do a full 360 fairly well. You can look up, not too far. You can look down relatively far. Does get quite a bit of wiggly waggly. He does have some nice molded in detail on his chest. Some very, very boxy, blocky forearms. Got some nice blue paint and plastic for his thighs and crotch. he does without all the kibble. I feel like he'd actually look pretty cool. But yeah, with this backpack going on and all that, he just definitely a whole lot going on just for even just standing here in his robot mode. Anyway, for rest of articulation, his arms can do pretty much what Blast Off can do. Just and then do full 360 pretty much this way as well. Although stuff does get in the way a little bit. Bicep rotation. Less than 90-degree bend at the elbow, but as you can see, it's just it's pretty much comical. That's how bad it is. It's just pretty comical. And then you have a wrist swivel. His fingers are individually articulate, although they do not have the fingers, which is okay. I'm okay with this. Like I have said in the past, fingers are about this size. Okay, yeah, I'm okay with the articulation being less so, because you know, terrified of breaking the tiny little hands. I really yeah, don't like that. Don't like that on small figures. As cool as it can be, I still don't like it. And then that, probably more for combined mode. Waist swivel. He can kind of sort of do the full splits, although practically he can't because of all the backpack stuff. Legs can go forward about that far. Not very far back because of kibble. Thigh rotation. Less than 90-degree bend at the knee because of just all this stuff that gets in the way. He does have a decent amount of foot tiltage and ankle tiltage and all that. Yeah, so the legs, I feel like they're okay. They're not the worst. The kibble obviously is not desirable, but the arms, the arms are the worst, the absolute worst. But yeah, and the backpack kibble for helicopters, as far as they're concerned, isn't the worst either. But I will admit, though, the vehicle mode issues, like with the these staying down and tabbed into place for the vehicle mode, is, well, less than desirable. And of course, these broke off. But like I said, I don't care too much because, you know, the original Vortex was not that kind of helicopter anyway. And one last thing before we get down to combined mode, let's go ahead and take a look at his character card, which I forgot to look at earlier. Some lovely artwork, which does show off the kibble, but as you can see, it is slimmed down quite a bit because obviously they don't want it to look really bad. On the back of the sides, you can see how bad it really is. And then his helicopter mode, yeah, that's what his helicopter mode is supposed to look like, if it was not broken on mine, unfortunately. And then his specs looks like these, well, overall lower than Blast Off. Yeah, let's see, Blast Off is like better than him in almost every way. I mean, I guess he's a space shuttle, so that might be why. Anyway, yeah, so let's go ahead and get him into his combined mode. Got him back in his helicopter mode. So, yeah, to go ahead and get him into his combiner mode, well, first thing we're going to do is collapse that in. Collapse his landing gear. Like that. Pull this down. Close. Pull down. There we are. Pull down. Ah, a little bit of that. Quit fighting me. There we are. Pull down. There we go. And then fold up his wings, which they'll want to do on their own anyway. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pretty much, like on Blast Off, undo all the panels, pretty much. And as you can see, this time I actually managed to do it right. Yeah. Well, anyway, put that in. Just get his, pretty much just get that, just get out of the way. we are. That closed up for now. I mean, I know maybe I should have snapped it back into place, but we are. Get that untabbed. Untabbed. Brought down. And then untabbed. Flip around. Then you're just gonna close this up again, like we did for robot mode, pretty much. And then going to start working on the top, tilt up. Pretty much just gonna untab everything. Everything untabbed. So this down, untab. We are. Then we're going to rotate out like that. Whew. Then go ahead and collapse this down. I do believe collapse that down for combine mode, or at least mostly down. And you can have that, I don't know, however you want to do it. And then this, yeah, pretty much all the panels. All the panels. Don't forget about any of the panels. Just rotate down, pull down. Now we have everything. Now, if you remember with blast off, pretty much you're gonna have to rotate this part around to make sure that we have this part situated properly for the and now you did it for blast off configuration anyway, but you want to actually, okay, I guess it is on the right side for blast off, or for Vortex anyway. Yeah, then you pretty much just close this back up around the new configuration, and everything's going to open up again, but you just close it back up. Come on, close it up. And over the tabs, like you would for helicopter mode, come on. If it will cooperate with you, which he is not wanting to cooperate right now. There we are. That tabbed in. And then you can close up at least these panels right in there. And pretty much everything else, you just leave as is. And then this thing right here, the rotor, if you want to, you can get it rotated up here. I just get it held into place, kind of like with this. Of course, personal preference, however you want to do it, but you at least keep it more stationary and out of the way of his lower arm. So that is something that you can do like that. And the last thing you really want to do is just for the other one, let's go ahead and grab the other hand. Get over here. For Bruticus right here. And then we're just going to split apart and slot into right here. And the sound that you heard was the sound of the instruction booklet falling, because it's not a booklet. I'll just go ahead and show it off real quick because it is massive. It is this giant thing, and trying to just look at one little part of it, and it just wants to slide all over the place. Anyway, let's go ahead and, like I said, put his hand in, and as you can see, there is a slot in the clear plastic, and as you can see, this is different from blast-offs, quite a bit different actually. And you just want to make sure you have the right one on the right side. Slide that in, and then just make sure you get everything lined up, and hope that nothing gets pinched that isn't supposed to get pinched, like on blast-off. Anyway, yeah, getting these, okay. Believe me, it is well worth it once you get them all combined and together, and it is all worth this frustration. And of course, camera not cooperating on camera so much, and the panels are going to come undone, but you might want to undo them anyway so that you can get a better look at. And of course, the hand pops off completely. Okay, so since this side is the one that was not cooperating, let's get it on this side first. There we are. Nope, that's not it. Okay. There we go. Okay, then you didn't even see any of that. Okay, so focus on the foreground. Just slide that in, and then slide on in on the other side, and just have everything together, like so. And this one actually has more wiggle room around the hands, which is kind of nice. Has more wiggle room around the hands so that you can do more with it, unlike blast offs, unfortunately. Well, I mean, unfortunate for blast off, not unfortunate for Vortex, but yeah. And then just close up all the panels, and here we have the other arm of Bruticon finished. Whew. Definitely quite the ordeal, more than I was expecting it to be. But then again, that might be why I was delaying putting up a review of these guys, because they are quite nuisance, quite problematic. Anyway, oh yeah, and if you care about any of the extra bits, you can go ahead and plug this thing back in up here, if you even want it. And it just looks, it doesn't really add or subtract from it, really. But yeah, there we have another arm, and I guess for comparison, let's go ahead and bring in Blast Off. And here we have most of the upper body done, and let's go ahead and put Blast Off back off to the side. And so yeah, that's about it for Zeta Bruticon Whirlblade, aka Vortex. If you liked this review, even though it's not necessarily the best figure, but if you like this, my honest review of this figure, and you'd like to see more, please click that like and subscribe button to see more. And until next time, have a good one, everyone.